and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, we'll be discussing whether or not Graham Potter's job is on the line after Chelsea's demolition. But before that, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel, okay? We've recently just hit 209 subscribers, and I just want to say a massive thank you for all you guys showing support on my videos, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed, and yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you, really, because we've absolutely done my target. We've done my target and went above, didn't we? I asked for 175 subscribers, and we've done more than that. We've got 209 right now, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you once again. But let's get straight into the episode, shall we? What went wrong for Graham Potter's West Ham in this game? For me, it's a tricky one because, you know, Graham Potter and West Ham just look so lacklustre. They look so flat. They look so, you know, riddled with out of their depth, if you like. It looks very similar to last season, didn't it? When you think of their form last season, you know, Graham Potter, for whatever reason, he's just not looking like a good fit for West Ham at the moment. Whether that's, you know, the players not fitting into his system, whether that's, you know, not taking on board his ideas, not taking on board his like suggestions and how he wants to play and how he sees the game. Obviously, Graham Potter was a half decent manager back in the day for Brighton, and he did okay for Chelsea. Probably wasn't as good as they expected because, you know, Chelsea fans have high expectations of where they want to finish in the league. They scored in the opening 6 minutes, obviously, through Pateta. Absolutely scored a worldy goal outside the box. You know, put a little swaz on the ball, and he went past Robert Sanchez, didn't he? And, you know, it was looking half decent. Like, I want to say, what, 5-10 minutes later, João Pedro scores a nice little header from a corner. Come on, you can't be conceding so early on in the game afterwards, you know what I mean? You know, after going 1-0 up in front, you can't be conceding so early on afterwards. It just sort of takes the sting out of the game, takes everything out of the game, doesn't it? For West Ham, it takes all their advantage away, and for whatever reason, either their defence, their goalkeeper at the moment, it's just not good enough, and they really need to click on before anything bad happens, because losing both your two opening fixtures, conceding 8 goals in 2 games is absolutely abysmal, isn't it, by anybody's standards? And West Ham are looking like they're going to be in a relegation battle after 2 games. It's really unfortunate. Now, don't get me wrong as well. For me, it's a bit of a tricky one because I put them in 15th in my pre-season predictions, and I do feel like they're going to be in a relegation battle now. When you think about their attackers and their attacking players, right, they don't really have much quality in there, do they? Obviously, they've got Jared Bowen and they've got Lucas Pateta, but how else have they got there on the wings? Obviously, they've got Somerville, who, I don't know, he's just not really taken to the Premier League as I thought he would have a few seasons ago for me. For whatever reason, Somerville isn't probably the one to save them, at least. And again, you know, they haven't really brought in a Kudus replacement, have they? So it's a bit of a tricky one because they haven't really, you know, when you're losing such an important player as a Mohamed Kudus and you're not really replacing him, like, for me, they've sort of brought players in the wrong areas of their squad, if that makes sense. You know, they probably do need another winger in there to sort of, you know, help out Jared Bowen and all that sort of stuff, because Jared Bowen can be the goal scorer, he can score your goals, but how is he going to score your goals if you've got nobody assisting him, you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a weird one. After it was 1-1, right, I'm pretty sure, you know, they did score another goal, didn't they? It was a little bit unfortunate because it got ruled out from VAR, it was offside. They did look alright, they did look like there was going to, you know, bounce back and sort of get back into the game and whatnot, but I feel like after that VAR decision, it sort of just, you know, killed them, didn't it, West Ham? Honestly, that decision sort of just, it went terrible, didn't it, after that VAR decision, rule out the second goal, because if it was 2-1, I feel like the game would have been completely different. It's a tricky one, isn't it, for Graham Potter now, because, you know, when you look at some of his interviews after the game, he was looking so doom and gloom, wasn't he, after the game, Graham Potter, and you got to think to yourself, how long he's going to be in this West Ham job for? He could potentially get sacked, I want to say, between November and December if West Ham doesn't change now, if they keep on losing games, if they keep on drawing games as well. I feel like Graham Potter will lose his job very, very soon. He could be the first manager to get sacked in the Premier League this season. It's been very, very unfortunate because he has been a good manager over recent years and whatnot. But for whatever reason, it looks like he's very lacklustre now. It looks like the West Ham team look very flat. They look out of depth. They look a shadow of their former selves, don't they, West Ham? Now, you could argue that West Ham haven't been backed in the transfer market in certain areas, just because if you think about some of their signings, they've got Kyle Walker-Peters on a free, they've got Callum Wilson on a free, they've got Hermenso for like 19 million. They got that French centre back, Tsodobi, I think I've said his name right. I think they had like a option. I think they had an option to buy him for like what 35 million. So they went out and did that. For me, it's a weird one because when you look at their squad, it isn't that great, is it? And the signings they brought in probably isn't that good enough to take you on to the next level. For me, you need a replacement for Mohamed Kudus, and they just haven't done it. It's a really, really tricky one, isn't it, for West Ham? Because if you don't replace that player, it's going to be bad, isn't it? Either way, it's going to be bad. So for me as well, one problem area is the goalkeeper position. You can't be conceding 8 goals in 2 games. Hermenso, he just looks off the boil, doesn't he? He looks off the paces, and for whatever reason, he doesn't look comfortable in goal. He doesn't look comfortable, playing behind that West Ham defence for whatever reason. If you think about the goals today, they conceded 3 goals from the corners, okay? You know what I mean? Like, every time the ball went into the box, he tried to obviously get a touch on the ball, and he just couldn't get the right touch, could he? And he was falling all over the gaff, wasn't he? I meant to say, what was going on? He did not look, assured. He did not look comfortable. He did not look like a real leader on the pitch for West Ham at all. You could argue as well, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was at fault for at least 2 or 3 of the goals. For whatever reason, right, that goal that João Pedro scored, he ran off Aaron Wan-Bissaka, didn't he? He got in front of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and he scored that header. And then you could say that second goal, I'm pretty sure that Pedro Neto scored. It might be the second or third goal, I can't remember. But the goal that Pedro Neto scored, right, he ran in behind Aaron Wan-Bissaka, sort of at the back post, didn't he? And he got a touch on the back post. So I don't know, for whatever reason, Aaron Wan-Bissaka sort of just stopped. He was running, and then he sort of just stopped for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't see Pedro Neto behind him. When we talk about from a Chelsea perspective, it was absolutely fantastic. João Pedro finally got off the mark, right, after the second game of the season. And he looks absolutely amazing, didn't he, in that game? He was holding up the ball, he was getting players into play, he was beating his defenders and whatnot, and got a debut goal. So from that perspective, it was all happy days from João Pedro, wasn't it? And now I feel like this will push him on to score some more goals, in the upcoming season. So yeah, for me, fantastic from his point of view. Another one to watch for the season would be Esteval for me. Obviously, he came in through Cole Palmer's injury at the last second, and he didn't look out of place whatsoever, did he? For me, Esteval became Chelsea's youngest ever player to get an assist in the Premier League at 18 years old and 120 days. Okay, for me, absolutely brilliant. When you think about this young Brazilian player, he looks like the next Brazilian wonder kid coming up in the Premier League, doesn't he? He was smashing it in the Club World Cup for Chelsea. He's getting a few goal contributions there as well, and he's got his first assist in the Premier League. For me, this guy's a wonder kid, and he's a one to watch for the season. I feel like he'll take on the mantle for Cole Palmer now that he's got an injury. I don't know how long his injury will be. I don't know if the manager Enzo Maresca's said or not. I'm not too sure. They probably want to keep it under wraps for now, just because he's such an important player and whatnot. So hopefully it's not too long. But either way, I feel like Esteval will be the perfect replacement for him in there on that right hand side, because he looks like an absolute world beater, doesn't he, at the moment? Did you just see that way? He sort of took that touch, ran through 2 or 3 of those West Ham defenders to get into the box, to beat the man, and sort of put the ball through the box into Enzo Fernandez's path, okay, for him just to tap it home. Honestly, that was like the ability of a mature player. He was, he showed that mature quality, that mature experience of a 25-year-old right winger, didn't he? Bukayo Saka will be doing that sort of stuff, wouldn't he? Esteval, just watch out for him this season, because he's gonna absolutely destroy some defenders in this league, okay? That's one thing for sure. Chelsea just looked threatening every single time they went forward, didn't they? Don't get me wrong, in my pre-season predictions, I put them in the top 4. And I feel like I'm going to keep them in the top 4. I don't want to get over ahead of myself and say they're going to be in the title race, because I feel like that's a little bit untrue. For me, I think Chelsea are still a goalkeeper away, probably another experienced centre-back away from, challenging for the Premier League title. But either way, I'm pretty sure now they've actually guaranteed themselves to finish in the top 4. I feel like they're going to be such a fun team to watch this season, Chelsea. They're going to score goals galore. Don't get me wrong, right? That Crystal Palace game was a little bit unfortunate. It was always going to be a harder game for them, playing against Crystal Palace at the start of the season, getting a 1-1 draw. So hopefully now, they can build on this momentum and sort of you know, bounce back for the next game and get another victory over the next game. For me, they've got so much squad depth in the forward lines, don't they? Whether that's midfield, whether that's wingers, attackers, strikers, it's frightening for when you watch Chelsea this season. I feel like for West Ham, from a West Ham point of view, just to end it quickly, they need to fix sort of sooner rather than later, don't they, West Ham? Because at the moment they look like they've run out of ideas. They look like, you know, they're out of their depth. They look like they can't string two passes together at sometimes in the game. And for me, I will never report them in a relegation battle just because Jared Bowen is a main player in their team who can get them out of trouble. But if you don't have the players around you, what can you do? What do they need? They need somebody to replace Kudus ASAP, don't they? If they don't get another winger in, I feel like they're going to struggle this season because for whatever reason, their wingers aren't up to scratch. For me, their defenders, they don't even have bad defenders. Like Aaron Bissaka, he's probably out of form at the moment. You know, Kyle Walker-Peters, he can do a job there. You got that French centre back, Tabayo or something like his name is, whatever his name is. You've got what's his name, Max Kilman. Oh, they're decent defenders. What happened to Areola? Is he sort of out injured or something? I'm not too sure. Well, we'll have to double check that later on in the. Probably should double check that, to be honest. Maybe he's injured. I'm not too sure. Hopefully he can come back in though and do a half decent job because I meant so at the moment. He needs to fix up, doesn't he? Because he's not looking like a quality Premier League goalkeeper at the moment, isn't he? You know, he had a half decent season last season for Leicester City. Obviously, they did get end up getting relegated, but he can't be in another relegation battle, can he? He just can't be. But yeah, let's end the video with some questions, okay? Do you feel like Graham Potter's job is on the line after Chelsea's defeat, okay? You know, how would you feel about the goalkeeper Hermento conceding 8 goals in 2 games? Do they need to bring in somebody else like an Areola, or do they need to sign somebody as a you know, as a backup emergency option? Who knows? How would you feel about them not replacing Mohamed Kudus? Are they going to sign another winger to sort of, you know, boost up their attacking options? How do you feel sorry a little bit for West Ham? Obviously, you know, getting that VAR decision ruled out. If the game was at 2-1, you know, could it have been a completely different game? And yeah, that's where I'm going to end the video. But before that, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And we've recently just hit 209 subscribers. Okay, and I just want to say a massive thank you for all you guys showing support on my recent videos, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed. But yeah, I just hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.